Welcome to Mindless Entertainment. I'm your host, Jesse Milestone, and we're here today to talk about Star Wars 8, The Last Jedi. Now, in case you can't read, this video has all the spoilers. Not that there are really any spoilers, because if you've seen Empire Strikes Back and Return to the Jedi, you pretty much know everything that's already going to happen in this movie. Yeah, once again, nothing new. Things that happened for me while I was in the theater at this movie, right? I resisted the urge to take out my cell phone to see how much time I had left to suffer through this. I face palmed, like actually face palm at least 3 times, and more than once muttered under my breath, "You have got to be fucking kidding me." So, as you might imagine, I have some opinions about this movie. And I'm going to warn you right now, this here thing you're about to watch is probably going to involve a lot of yelling and a decent amount of swearing. Because I read somewhere that swearing helps alleviate pain, and I'm in a lot of pain. I mean, I knew this was going to be bad from the second the opening crawl finished. Right? Opening crawl in Star Wars, usually sort of a pretty matter in the fact, like, it is a dark time in the galaxy, and here's why. Bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. All right. These are the immediate circumstances you need to know leading up to the film you're about to watch. This one was all like, oh, and our brave heroes must mount a daring escape. And I was like, fuck this. So that's where we started. I don't even know where I should start with all of this. So I'm going to take it from, if you saw the last video I put up, it was a discussion of feminism between the original trilogy and The Force Awakens. Shockingly, a movie that was made in 1977 had a better feminism than one that was made 2 years ago. Though if you look at our president, maybe it's not all that shocking. So I'd like to address those 2 things, right? My issues were that our 2 main female characters, Rey and Captain Phasma, didn't really do anything in the first movie. They don't have any agency. They didn't do anything cool. They didn't live up to the hype, I didn't think. So let's start with Captain Phasma, because that's easy. What does Captain Phasma do in this movie? Literally nothing. She shows up once, she's like, I'm gonna kill you, and then she doesn't, and then she dies. Great. The end. We were all so excited for this badass female villain who sucks. Now, she's probably gone forever, unless they bring her back as some, like, weird half-robot creature, and then maybe she'll finally have, like, a story, because if she was whole woman, that's just not interesting. We have to just take away half of her and make her not completely woman, and then we can care, because that's how that works. So that's pretty much it. That's, like, really, that's all I can say about Captain Phasma, because she was in the movie for all of 5 seconds, and then she was dead. Rey, once again, did nothing. So that clip that we saw from the trailer, I need someone to show me my place in all of this. Pretty much quintessential, like, Rey throughout the entire movie. Like, I'm just gonna follow people around and see if they'll tell me what to do. She spends the first half of the movie pretty much puppy dogging behind Luke Skywalker, being like, teach me the ways of the Force, come save the Resistance, and by the way, during all of these scenes where he's trying to teach her about the Force, she is pathetically naive. Like, it's upsetting how much of an idiot she is in so much of this movie. So that sucks. And then when she's not following Luke around, she's following Kylo Ren around, being like, I sense the good in you, which, oh my god. Okay. All right, let's talk about that for a second. We have this nice thing, these visions going on between Rey and Kylo Ren, because kudos to the Star Wars franchise. They're not just stealing from the originals anymore, they're also stealing from Harry Potter now, because we have a very, like, Legilimency-esque connection, like a la Harry and Voldemort in Order in the Phoenix, going on between Rey and Kylo Ren, where they, like, see each other, and oh, it turns out that the evil villain with no nose is manipulating the visions the entire time. So, wow, where have I seen that before? Really original, guys. Really good job. So you have that's stupid. You have another definite Harry Potter moment where Rey and Kylo Ren are both trying to, like, get the same lightsaber, and like their force meets in the middle, and they battle for supremacy of the lightsaber, and then kaboom! Yeah, we know that happened with wands a while ago somewhere else. You suck. So, getting back to this Rey-Kylo Ren connection, right? So they start seeing each other in these visions, and Rey is like, you're a monster! How could you have murdered Han Solo? You're the worst person ever! Oh my god! Ah! And then, like, pretty much 180, just immediately, like, believes something Kylo Ren says, which is, like, why? You have no reason to believe anything he says ever, but, like, immediately, like, believes something he says, and is like, oh, no, you're actually a good person. Here, let me take your hand. Like, what? Why? Because you're stupid and naive? Great. That's it. That's all you have the entire So like I said, there's an upsetting amount of stuff stolen from the original trilogy, down to like entire scenes with the dialogue. The biggest offense for me was when Rey shows up, goes to Kylo Ren, and gets put in handcuffs, and he's taking her to the Galactic Overlord. They're in the elevator, she's got the handcuffs on, and she's like, no, I sense the good in you, I feel the conflict in you, come back to the light, and he's like, once you meet the General Snoke, Emperor Palpatine, you will understand all the power of the dark side. Wow, they stole the lines, I swear to you. And then everything from on there was just a fucking copy. They walk in there, and it's the same thing. General Snoke being like, embrace your destiny, follow the power to the dark side, down to like telling Kylo Ren, okay, strike her down, great. And then he turns on his master, oh my god, and kills him instead in a nice little like Darth Maul callback where he just gets cut in half. Oh, and during this entire scene, too, it's the same shit like Luke and Palpatine of, like, I have a stupid amount of faith that something is gonna go right, even though I can see all my friends getting killed. Ha ha ha, your pathetic rebellion is failing. Look out this window, or in this case, on this monitor, because we don't have a window on this particular room in this ship. And, like, just this exact same dynamic, the exact same lines. Oh, and then once we kill Snoke, though, because we're doing 2 movies at once here, we gotta revert back to Empire and have a nice little, like, ooh, let's have a moment where we reveal Rey's parents, and then Kylo Ren's all, join me and we will rule the galaxy together. I'm like, seriously? Seriously? We've had that. We've seen that. The same, Darth Vader said literally the same fucking thing to Luke Skywalker in Empire Strikes Back. Oh my god, you need to try harder. And while we're, oh god, so there's this thing too that drives me nuts, where the Force, like the way they change the Force in these movies is just awful. So we have this thing where like the Force in this one, like, oh, the amount of dark side you are is directly proportionate to the amount of light side. Like the more evil you are, the more conflict there is. The more shitty stuff you do, the more guilty you'll feel about that. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Come on. Anakin Skywalker starts murdering people and just loses all that good stuff and becomes an irredeemable bastard until finally his only son brings out the light in him, which squashes the dark. Boom. Right? Because that's how that works. We have inverse relationship here, right? The more dark you embrace, right? The more you squash the light out, the more you embrace the light, the easier it is to fight the dark. Not this like balance thing that doesn't make any goddamn sense. So there's that we're dealing with. And I want to take it back for a second, right, while we're talking about the Force and how much they fuck it up in this movie. So we have this island, this mystical island that's like the center of the Force, which, by the way, didn't in Rogue One, didn't we have Jeddah? Wasn't that supposed to be like the birthplace of the Jedi and like the heart and soul of the Force in the galaxy, you know, with all the kyber crystals and shit like that? But whatever, you know, let's just not keep our story straight. Let's just do whatever the hell we want. Hey, maybe Han Solo will be Asian in the movie. Who knows? That'd be great. So we have this stupid ass island, for, you know, the Force and shit that has a cave on it. A cave that represents the dark side, and Rey goes into the cave, and what does she find in the cave? Oh, right, herself. Oh my god, where have I seen that before? Luke Skywalker goes into a cave, faces Darth Vader. Oh my god, it's him. What? Which also, you know, serves to foreshadow the nature of their parents. Rey, you come from nobody, so here it's just a whole bunch of you. Oh, Luke, you come from this guy. He's your dad. You just killed him. So, like, fucking... That was dumb. That was dumb. Once again, we don't have any explanation of the First Order or where it came from or how, like, some outside group just popped in and just totally shattered the New Republic. How did that happen? That would be like the Ku Klux Klan rising up and be like, hey guys, we have nukes, see ya, this is our country now, bye. It's illogical, and I thought we were gonna get some sort of explanation in this movie. I hoped. We did not. Of course not. So now we have this absurdly powerful, like, outside force that came in, took over the entire fucking galaxy, and the best guy they could find as their general is a complete and total buffoon. Yeah, I'm talking about General Hux, right? General Hux in the first movie is a little Grand Moff Tarkin-esque, right? He's got that, like, you know, he's a bold and ruthless general who has that pride is sort of his fatal flaw. In this one, he's a fucking moron. He's just, like, gets thrown against the wall and, like, thrown around the floor and is just embarrassed and does stupid shit all the time. That's all he does is a bunch of dumb shit. How did he become the fucking general of the First Order being such a fuckwit? Doesn't make any goddamn sense. Nothing, really nothing. I mean, honestly, nothing in this movie makes sense. So much of this movie doesn't make any sense at all. Like, Rey and Kylo Ren, for no reason, being, like, the most Force-powerful people in the fucking world who've ever lived. So, yeah, let's talk about, like, that Force stuff, right? it took Luke Skywalker almost a complete Jedi training sesh with Yoda, arguably one of the greatest Jedi Masters of all time, to, learn the ways of the Force, and one of the very important things about Jedi training, learn how to resist the seductive powers of the dark side. Rey has no training, so how is she gonna do that, huh? Especially because now we know, light, dark, right? They come up like this, so now she has no training to resist the dark, she's all this darkness in her, how is she not gonna turn evil? Well, she just won't, and it'll be fine, because we just don't, there's just nothing is earned for her character. Everything is too fucking easy, she just gets what she wants, bam, 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 like that. She's just force, like jizzing force all over the place, for no fucking reason. Has not learned anything, has not earned any of this power. Just like, suddenly, a great female character is completely flawless and perfect. What? No, that's not how it works. Women are people too. We're fucking human. I want to see a character with an arc and a story, not just someone who walks around making this face the entire time and then lifts rocks, because that's literally the only thing Rey does, like, with any amount of agency in this entire movie. She lifts some rocks, saves the rebellion. Woo! That's it. She fucking lifts rocks. Great job, Rey. Excellent move. Well done, you. So, dark side and yes. So we have the two most absurdly force powerful people in the fucking galaxy, right? General Snoke, Supreme Leader Snoke, no-nose fuckface, is dead now, and we have his guards who are gonna come and avenge his death, I guess. Which means they just didn't do the job in the first place. That's fine. So we have our one epic lightsaber battle for the film, which is great. And everyone in my theater was like, "Oh my god, this is so good!" Except what was wrong with that battle? Oh yeah. Nobody uses the Force! Again, the two most Force-powerful people fucking ever are sitting there getting, strangle-held. I'm sorry, if you're in that situation, you're like, oh, you're choking me? Psych! I hold up my hand, now I'm choking you! That's what should be happening, right? Every other fucking lightsaber battle we have, you have people force-pushing shit. You have, people force-pulling the ceiling down on your head, right? You have all this crazy stuff. This is sword, sword. Okay, I guess you win. Oops, no, I'm gonna lightsaber my way out of this, because I suddenly forgot how to use the Force, because apparently multitasking is one of the things that you lose when you just have all this raw Force sensitivity. Great. So, that's dumb. And that's just Kylo Ren and Rey. I mean, come on. We have the entire rest of the movie that makes no sense. All right, so Rebellion. First of all, by the way, the entire Force Awakens, it's resistance. This movie, they probably use the word rebel and rebellion as often as they use resistance, which is why? I don't know, because fans like it better. I mean, I do, but that's still stupid. So let's talk about this sort of central conflict in this film, which is the Resistance flagship trying to outrun a bunch of Star Destroyers because it got, their fleet got blown to hell and stuff like that. Oh, and while we're here, let's of course talk about the wonderful thing that happens in that first battle. Leia in space! Again, what? I mean, we have seen no evidence at any point anywhere in the Star Wars universe that having the Force helps your body withstand getting killed. People get killed. They get shot with blasters. They get shot with lightsabers. They die of old age even. We have never seen anything that suggests that the Force could do something like help you survive in space and then have you fly through space back to safety. So that's okay. I mean, and on top of all this is also the first time we ever really see Leia use the Force. Which, okay, we have the superpower, all-powerful Rey who just force everywhere. But if Leia's, of the ilk that's, of Luke Skywalker, if they're from the same sort of generation, cut from the same cloth here, when Luke is under life-threatening duress, he manages, with great effort, to force-pull a lightsaber to him. Leia manages to survive a massive explosion, first of all, because she, gets burned during this experience. She should be, burned to a fucking crisp. She's not. She's not 0% burned. Oh, side note, the biggest tragedy of this entire movie happened in that scene, too, which we just mentioned, in an afterthought later, was that Admiral Akbar is now dead, which sucks. But anyway, so Leia, nothing, she gets blown up. No physical damage from getting blown up. She's now in space. Where she's apparently still conscious, and she can just force zip herself back to the ship, force open the door that no one else gets sucked out of, by the way, which doesn't make any sense either, right? And they just all force, chill around in their fucking spaceship together. Great. That doesn't, it's so beyond illogical that I don't even know what to say about it. So we'll move on. We'll move on to what happens next. Okay, so Laura Dern, distractingly recognizable actor, which I always love in the Star Wars franchise, is now taking the helm here and leading, who has purple hair for no reason, and deciding we're going to run the fuck away. Great. And if we run away good enough, we stay just out of the range of the Star Destroyers of their, like, where their blasters could penetrate our shields. So why can't the Star Destroyers just keep up? I mean, these are big, powerful ships that, by the way, aren't running low on fuel, so I don't understand why they can't keep up in the first place. That's dumb. Okay, that's one thing. Second thing, we have this 18-hour window now. Okay, our fuel's gonna last for 18 more hours, so Finn and Rose go off on this crazy little adventure, which, by the way, is probably, like, the most fun part of the movie, and we'll talk about that in a second. They go off on their fun little adventure. They have 18 hours to, like, flip that around, come back, and, like, save the day, because they need to get some code breaker to disable some shit on the ship so that they can jump to lightspeed without getting tracked, and it doesn't make any sense. But anyway, so to jump to lightspeed, so this whole thing about, like, oh, if we jump to lightspeed right now, first of all, they'll just track us, second of all, we'll burn what's left of our fuel. Okay, so they're burning basically what's left of their fuel during these 18 hours of running away. So by the time Finn and Rey got back, there wouldn't be enough fuel to jump to lightspeed anyway, making this entire journey moot, which it is, by the way. Like, the entire journey is like a total fucking MacGuffin. It's completely pointless. Completely pointless. Literally completely fucking pointless. They go away, they come back, they get trapped on a fucking ship, and then they leave. The end. Nothing was gained. They didn't accomplish anything from this entire fucking experience. So that was stupid. Except discovering, like, Cloud City 2.0. Also stupid. And so there's no way that this little plan is going to work to begin with. Fine. And then so we have the rebel ships escaping, blah, and then they get sold out so that, so they and now they're getting shot and blown to hell. Now, Laura Dern stays behind with the ship. Like, she's there to die on purpose. She's like, no, I have to stay with the ship. Like, maybe I have to keep them, make sure I'm flying it so they know that we're, like, also, why isn't there a fucking autopilot? But, like, whatever reason, she's going down with the ship. Like, she's there to die. If she had the power all along to flip the ship around and lightspeed through the Juggernaut, Star Destroyer, whatever the fuck that ship is that's chasing them, if she had the power to do that all along, why didn't she do that in the first place? Why does she sit there and watch, like, half of her friends get fucking blown up before she's like, maybe now's the time to save the day? No sense. Completely illogical. And now let's talk about time, because like I said, they stole everything from the originals, including the biggest plot hole from Empire Strikes Back. Now, if you're not familiar, the biggest plot hole in Empire Strikes Back is the fact that either Luke's Jedi training, takes like 3 weeks, or, the Millennium Falcon takes like a fucking year plus during all of its misadventures. When you think about it, like asteroid field, getting to Cloud City, getting the ship repaired on Cloud City, getting betrayed, all that shit, that's like 3 weeks tops. A near complete Jedi training, not a 3-week kind of deal. This same exact kind of plot hole we have in The Last Jedi right here. So first of all, 18 hour, like the whole movie, the whole like stuff, it may be 48 hours. If you're lucky, it's 48 hours. Now this is clearly happening very, very quickly after the end of The Force Awakens, because when we get to, we start Rey and Luke, of course, the stupidest thing from the end of The Force Awakens is that, like, your face, your face, your face, your face shot they do back and forth like 40 times. They start Rey and Luke with that same fucking shot, which is just like, why? And they do that also, by the way, that's like half the movie, probably like 12 different times in the course of the goddamn movie. You have like, my reaction, my reaction, my reaction, my reaction. Like, why? Like, oh, because nothing else is actually happening in the movie, so you have to try to fucking trick us into think that something's actually happening when it's not. So, stupid reaction shot. Okay, so like the end of that movie, right, and the beginning of this were happening at the same time here, right, because Finn is still like in the medical bay after their adventures blowing up the Starkiller, so this is like right on it. We're talking like maybe a couple days, for Rey to get to the island, and then for like, oh my god, they found us and we have to take off now, right? So the entire course of the movie is now 48 hours we're talking here, between like, oh, we were evacuating the planet, we made the jump to lightspeed, but they followed us, shit. And then that enters us into, so you're saying that's a lot of time there, because that's now we're in our 18-hour fuel reserve time window, right? A lot of fucking stuff happens in those 18 hours, let me tell you. Finn and Rose manage to like zip off to an entirely different planet, hang out on that planet for a while. Like, they're in a jail cell on that planet. Like, the time is passing here. Now this crazy giant escape and then come back. Like, a lot of fucking time has gone by here, apparently, just about 18 hours. But no matter that, because Rey is having her little, like, Legilamency connections with Kylo Ren during these 18 hours. Like, you see Kylo Ren on his ship out where, like, the chasing of the starships are happening, right? During this 18-hour window. And, like, days are passing for Rey. So that doesn't make any goddamn sense. Just completely fucking illogical. Totally, like, so many plot holes, so many MacGuffins, so many, like, why are you even wasting my time with this shit? And then to cap it all off, we have another Battle of Hoth, basically. We finished the movie with just Battle of Hoth with pod racers, essentially. Finishing out Luke dying for, again, no fucking reason. He's like, whew, survived that thing. Man, that was hard. I think I've done enough for this resistance thing. Poof, I'm gone now. Why? Totally unearned. Almost as bad as, like, Han Solo getting a lightsaber through the chest for no reason. Which, by the way, I understand Han needs to die, but, like, that was the worst death you could have given anybody. So, Battle of all the pod racers. This all ends with now the rebellion can fucking fit on the Millennium Falcon, or the Resistance can fit on the Millennium Falcon. So, how are we gonna do episode 9 without, like, a 20-year time jump? Are we just gonna have, like, that Mario-looking dude, and, you know, Leia, who can't be there anyway, because we have to find a reason for her to die, because Carrie Fisher's not around, and, like, oh, all-powerful Rey, we're just gonna, like, save the day with all 12 of us. Great, that's idiotic. And then my favorite little thing, okay, anybody, because a lot of people said this, right? There are a lot of people who are like, oh, the Return of the Jedi is garbage because of the Ewoks, and the Ewoks are just a stupid ploy to sell toys, so that makes them stupid. Anybody who ever said that is not allowed to like The Last Jedi, because what are the Porgs? That's their purpose. Like, oh, let's make a cute thing so kids like it, and we can sell all these stupid toys. Cheap, asinine comic relief. Which, by the way, some of the comic relief in this film was, like, the most enjoyable part, but they did it to such an extent that they do things like making General Hux into a buffoon and just cheapening a lot of characters. So, like, the comedy, like, the audience laughing was pretty much at the expense of the quality of the film, which was non-existence anyway, so I guess you're not really risking anything. But just the number of idiotic creatures that showed up. It's like, no, I mean, new creatures are fine. Have them have a purpose. Like, the only new creature that had a fucking purpose in this movie were the horse things, the, like, horse dog things that Finn and Rose escape on, and they're, like, a nice little metaphor for captivity and all this shit. So that's great. That's, like, I like those. Those were good. Everything else, what the fuck? The Crystal Foxes, they were adorable and served no purpose. Except for that one little, like, ooh, look at this is their way out. Which is like, why didn't you find that way out in the first place? Ooh, we searched the entire thing and we looked at the schematics for the entire, this entire cave and couldn't find anything. Why not? Because you suck! So there's that. So no purpose for them. And then there's the fat fucks. There's whatever the fuck those are. I call them the fat fucks that Luke just, like, milks and drinks from, and it makes everyone feel really uncomfortable, and it's gross and stupid. And why? Why are they there? Why are there, like, weird lizard servant women in stupid dresses? No fucking sense. And they have tits, by the way. And the fat fucks have, like, 8 tits. And then you have this random, like, opera singer for no reason going, whoa! During one of the lines in Cloud City 2.0, one of the seasons of Cloud City 2.0, who also has tits. So it's just like fucking tits everywhere, because Star Wars is for men and women can go fuck themselves, as evidenced by this goddamn movie. This movie is like 12 people wrote scripts, they put them all in a blender, and only kept the shitty parts. That's what The Last Jedi is. So please, spare yourself, don't fucking see it. And if you do, and you like it, don't ever talk to me ever again, because I hate you and you're a fucking moron. And that's what I got. So if you like this, like it, share it, subscribe, that kind of stuff. That's important. And if not, go fuck yourself. So catch you next time.